It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day, I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. I'm taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage.
It starts with some beer, so you shouldn't have fear. Two garbage guys with facts, but they both still have tact. It's that time at last for the best damn podcast. It's Can Crusher Day.
Woo, 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 you know it is time for another episode of Can Crusher Spotlight. And this week we sit down with one of the rising stars of OVW, one of the upstarts, one of the young bucks, not one of those young bucks, whoa, I gotta watch what I'm saying, but one of the fastest rising stars in OVW, KTD. We sit down and we talk about the Combine, the Fort Knox show, what's going on with him, how the Combine has changed him. It's just a great interview, and he is somebody that we know we are going to have back on the show, maybe sooner than later, because there's so much with his training and with what's going on. Like, KTD is one that I can call right now. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Come on the show. And boom, he's going to be right there. There's so much to this story, and we clicked pretty big when we were down in Kentucky. So here comes KTD's interview with me, following our great sponsor, Collar and Elbow.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And welcome back to Can Crushers. Guys, I'm really excited to have this next guest on, a rising star in OVW. I'll give you my comparison in a minute, but this guy is KTD. KTD, welcome to Can Crushers.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be on the show today.
Yeah, as we said off air, we'll talk about this real quick. This has been set up for a couple weeks, but between rain and flooding up in my neck of the woods and just craziness down in OVW, we had to shift you around.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I don't mind. You know, it's been a very busy couple of weeks, really. You know, between the Fort Knox show and then we were just in Campbellsville yesterday, and then we have our Saturday night special coming up, so it's been very busy.
Yeah, you guys really have been breaking down the walls, really, in Kentucky. But before we get there, let's get the story of KTD. Who introduced wrestling to the little KTD?
My big brothers introduced me to wrestling. I remember when I was a kid, and we would all sit on either in the living room or on my mom's bed in the bedroom watching WWF when it was WWF, and watching WCW a little bit here and there. It was awesome. Very fond memories of that.
Did you get to watch anything else like Mid-South, or is that before your time?
That's actually a little bit before my time. I really only watch a lot of the mainstream things. I didn't get to watch not WCW. I didn't get to watch ECW. That was too much for me. My brothers hadn't introduced me to ECW because it's Extreme Championship Wrestling. Wasn't suitable for a little kid.
Yeah, little KTD should not have been watching ECW back in the day. That's for sure. So, where did you trickle more towards, WWF or WCW? Like, who are some of your favorites?
I trickled more towards WWF as a kid. It was just, it's what we always watched. My favorites really growing up were the Hardy Boys, no doubt were the Hardy Boys, Chris Jericho, and The Rock. Those were my top four that I just absolutely fell in love with growing up. And as an adult, when I started to get more of a broader view of professional wrestling, I really idolize guys like DDP, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I idolize all of them because they paved the way. But those are 3 or 4 of them that definitely stand out to me now.
All of them that you named, too, are wonderful on the mic. I mean, there wasn't one that you said, maybe. But, I mean, the Hardys were probably the weakest, and they're not weak at all, compared to, anybody else. So is there a mic skills thing there that you like? Was it the storytelling that they did on the mic?
For me, it wasn't even about the mic skills. For the Hardy Boys, they just had a lot of heart, with their matches, and seeing Jeff Hardy be able to jump off a 20-foot ladder and either hit or miss and then get back up and show back up the next week. It was just something I absolutely fell in love with. Matt Hardy is another one. They definitely put their bodies on the line. They left it all out there, and especially Lita. I believe Lita was my first celebrity crush.
Not a bad one. Not a bad celebrity crush. I think you were in line with probably millions and millions of others.
Tell me about it.
So what made you, besides the Hardys, because I already know where this answer is going, but it's on my sheet of paper, so I'm going to ask it. What made you get into wrestling? Was your brother saying, dude, you would be great at this, or was it you just really wanted to be a Hardy, or, where were you? Who made you go into wrestling?
There was really no one person that made me go into wrestling. I won't say anybody thought it was a pipe dream, because it's wrestling. People are always going to be like, well, why would you want to wrestle, things like that. But for me, it was just kind of, instilled in me growing up watching it. It was just something I've always wanted to do. It's like the average kid. Well, I won't say average. But it's just like anybody that grows up watching basketball or baseball or football or hockey, and they want to do it when they get older, and they do it, and a lot of them make a good career out of it. That's the same with me when it comes to wrestling. There's really nothing else to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were things that I wanted to do growing up, but all in all, when it comes to sports and athleticism, being an athlete, wrestling is the thing that I wanted to do, and being in the ring and laying it all out there like everybody else.
Yeah, it really is in your blood. Once you get in this business, you're in this business, right?
Oh yeah. It's one of those things where once you actually get into it and you start to learn about it and see how everything works, you start to fall in love with it more, and you really can't picture yourself without it in some form or fashion. It's just you always feel like it always has to be a part of you, and you always have to be involved in it one way or another.
I 100% agree. You were doing it that way, we're doing it this way, and we feel like we're still so close with OVW that it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about some of your trainers. You picked OVW to start with, right? Or do I have my notes wrong?
Well, for the most part, I started in Minnesota back when I was a teenager. I started training with a small promotion back in Minnesota. I learned how to bump, and I even had a couple matches back then, but I didn't necessarily understand wrestling altogether. I didn't understand the psychology of it, the when and why. And then, as I started to get older, when you turn 18, you graduate school, you have to get a real job and things of that nature. I finally ended up moving here, and sometime after being here in Kentucky, I finally got the opportunity to go to OVW, and from there, it was just the rest is history. So yeah, really, my knowledge of what I know now, even compared to what I know a few months ago, a year ago, and then there's 10 years ago, it's just exponentially larger.
And you're actually one that's worked with Danny Davis, Rip Rogers, and now Al Snow. So you've kind of had the whole crossover from Danny's OVW to now Al's mega OVW where he's taking it. Let's talk a little bit about that and how once you got started under Danny's tutelage, how is it different?
Now, so I didn't get the opportunity to train under Danny. I came in a little bit after that, but I did have the opportunity of training under Matt Capitelli, which honestly, training under him was an honor. I love Matt. We all loved Matt, and it was great to be able to learn so much from him, not just as far as being a wrestler, but being a person, because Matt was just the best person ever. I got lucky being able to go in Rip Rogers' class because I was only a few weeks in to Matt Capitelli's class when someone encouraged me to start getting the extra training and asking Rip Rogers if I could step into his class, and I did. And once again, the rest is history.
And now, let me stop right there. For what I know, and talking to many fans and other people on the roster at OVW, I never met Matt, but his heart was as big as, the world. He would do anything for anyone trying to make it better for themselves, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He believed in everybody. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, whether you can be the most athletic or unathletic person in the world, and that's not taking anything away from anybody, but, he believed in everybody. He believed in everything that you could do.
And now Al Snow, as I got to sit in one of your training classes or practices, whatever we want to call it, fourth wall, I enjoyed more that night when he actually stopped and you guys were just listening to him for about 10, 15 minutes. I love the bumps. I love the bruises. I love all that. But when he was just saying stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm taking something out of this if these guys don't tonight. Because the wealth of knowledge that Al has is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And being like, I will tell you what, I feel like ever since Al came in, that's another thing, I've made more strides than ever. And he breaks stuff down so well. It's unbelievable. And when you start to process it, you start to get those mentality, oh, that's why, you should or shouldn't do this. And, that's why you have to make this mean more than that and vice versa. It's just the way he breaks things down. It's incredible.
I won't name other names that were in that class that night, but I know 5 to 6 of you had that look on your face 3 or 4 times that night. I'm telling you, that night when we were in Kentucky, that was one of the nights that I would put, on the top of anything wrestling I have done, just sitting in that class. Because just seeing you guys, the looks are what I'm talking about. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And like you said, it's just there's just so much more. I've learned so much from Al in the past year or it's been a little bit over a year actually since he's been over OVW. But I know that for a fact that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface.
That is the greatest statement I've heard from anybody I've talked to in OVW. You're right. Have it be you guys training, have it be matches, have it be the combine that we'll talk about in the school here in a minute. But yeah, Al's making OVW a force to reckon with, don't you think?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said, it's going to be something incredible, and especially with the combine and becoming a trade school, it's something we've been making so much history, and it feels great to be part of that kind of history.
So now let's talk about who KTD is. I'll give you my my splits. This is who I saw after watching you on YouTube for a while, and then coming down to Louisville, Kentucky, and I see you as a Jay Lethal, Daniel Bryan type of guy. That's who I have pictured in my head. Now, you tell me who you are, if I'm anywhere close.
Honestly, who I am, really, I'm a bit of a striker, for the most part. I've been trying to really be my own person out there in that ring, whether it be charisma-wise or just how I move out there in the ring. Because I come from an MMA background. I don't know if I told you that when we first talked.
No, that's news.
So when I got here, I still couldn't afford to go to OVW to train and whatnot, but I could afford to train in mixed martial arts, and so I started doing mixed martial arts, which was great because it got me in a very good athletic shape. It made me mentally strong, and it means I can take a good punch and punch just as hard. So coming from that background and making that transition, it's not anything that's easy, but incorporating that style in the ring, that's something that I really have been trying to do more and more, and just kind of stand out using that right there.
So I should compare you to Brock Lesnar now.
Not exactly. Brock Lesnar, as much as I love myself, Brock Lesnar he's on a whole nother level than me when it comes to being that kind of a force.
A mini Brock Lesnar, then. We'll just say that.
I'll take that.
So tell everyone out there listening right now, because we just been calling you KTD, and I will call you KTD the rest of forever. But tell everybody what KTD stands for.
That is actually my initials for my full name. My name is Cardaniel Terrence Dunn.
Simple as that, folks. You thought it was maybe a missile. You thought it was maybe some hidden message. That's his name, guys. It's legit his name, but KTD just got a ring to it.
Well, Daniel Spencer says that it should stand for "kick that dude," so I think I might change it to that.
Yes, Daniel Spencer makes it on Can Crushers again. Nice.
Oh man,
we have buried him the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you've been listening, but we have just been on his business.
Oh man, see, now I gotta go back and see what you guys have been talking about. I love Daniel.
I love him, but he's just screwed up a few matches here and there. That's all.
Well, sometimes things happen.
Right? All right. So recently you competed in the Combine. Okay, so you're on the OVW roster. You're, rising week after week after week. Why do the Combine if you're already on the roster?
For me, it is actually a few different reasons why I did it. Partly was to see, what I need to improve on, what I can work on myself, whether it be in the gym or in the ring. The other part was out of respect for the fact that Al Snow and Chad and their business partners would be willing to do something like that for us, would be willing to invest that kind of money into not just OVW, but each of us as wrestlers, as roster members. So, if we don't want to do it, on the roster, then how are we gonna encourage more people? And that's not knocking anybody that didn't take part in the Combine. It's just a matter of, if we don't want to do it, then how can we sit here and encourage other people to come and take part in the combine. And, you know, another part of it was about making history. Once again, this was the very first professional wrestling combine in the history of wrestling, like legit. And the things that some of the technology we used was unparalleled, you know, and that shows how serious that we are taking this, how serious we're taking OVW and the trade school that we're opening up. You know, it shows that we are opening the doors to anybody who wants to come through. You don't have to be a wrestler. You can, if you want to, you know, learn production, things of that nature. That it shows that, you know, we're opening our doors. So it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just about competing in the combine just to be doing it. It's about making history. It's about showing respect, you know, to those who have paved the way and have made it so we can even have a combine. And I can't wait to do it next year again.
Yeah, I'm excited year after year knowing this could be a trek down to Kentucky. If other things don't pan out, we'll see. But, yeah, the Combine, just meeting people. And that day, let's rewind to that day a little bit. You know, you have 75 people coming in, 60 of them you don't know. But by the end of the night, you guys are one giant family rooting on each other.
Oh, yeah. And that was probably the best part of it, is getting to know so many people, meeting people that are just as passionate about the sport as I am. So that's what makes it awesome. You know, it's you testing your mettle, you know, testing your mettle against other people and learning from each other as well.
So how do you think, we talked a little bit after me and you, how do you think you did overall? Because today everybody looked drained. And how have you changed what you've been doing since the Combine, eating, training, whatever?
I feel like I did really good. I was very nervous about the Combine. It was supposed to be fun. It was a lot of fun, but I was very nervous at the same time, you know, because I do want the scholarship. I can't say I did because I don't know the results yet. But that's something that I really do want. As far as what I've changed, I feel I've worked on a lot more strength training. You know, as far as whether it be on the bench or a squat, you know, and if not that, then endurance. I've changed my diet around a little bit. I actually cut out soda recently, and so it's been about a month. And I really should have done it a long time ago, but I've actually cut out soda, and I actually feel really good.
I was going to say that's probably the first step and a hard step for anybody. We made that, myself, made that about 6 months ago, where I just stopped cold turkey on we call it pop up here in the northern part of the world. We cut out the pop, and I've dropped some weight, but it just makes you feel better. It's all the sugar and caffeine running through you.
Definitely, and I love it. And even recently, when I thought, well, maybe I could just have one can of pop or soda, so to speak, I've just been like, I really like this feeling that I have now. It's a lot of sugar and whatnot. I'll drink the Zevias, what's supposed to be the healthy soda,
right?
Which are really good. Those are very delicious. And then I'll drink Gatorade and water, and then BCAAs. So I'm gonna mix that in, so it's fruit flavored.
Nice. Before we get to talking about a couple of your matches that I want to bring up, what else does KTD do on the side? Are you a big video game guy? Do you make it to some Louisville Bats games or baseball? What's up?
In all honesty, if I'm not at a show or training, I'm usually either in the gym or with family and friends, So I really don't have the opportunity to play a lot of video games. I love video games, but I don't have the opportunity to play a lot of video games or watch a lot of TV. I'm a comic book nerd though, so that's saying something.
That's funny. Everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their thing. And that's probably the best answer I want to hear from a professional wrestler is that you're not floating around playing WWE 2K19 or MLB The Show or anything, that you're training. That's the best thing.
I think the next time I play WWE 2K, it'll be when my character is actually on there.
Nice, strong passion for the man. All right, so you brought up Fort Knox, but I want to rewind a little bit farther because you guys are now partnered with Impact Wrestling, and a couple months ago, you can find it on the OVW Wrestling Network for only $4.99 a month. There was Clash into Bluegrass, and it was a co-op with Impact, and you had a match against William Lutz. How big is that knowing that you have Scott D'Amore and All Impact watching you?
Once again, it's like the Combine, nerve-wracking, but exciting and fun because I know that what we do out there in the ring, it's not in vain. We have the eyes on us, and people that want us to succeed, and people that want us to excel and get better, so they can bring us up, and then we can be featured on Impact and things of that nature. It's already began to happen with various people on the roster as well.
Yeah, it has. We've said Callie's been on there, a couple other ones. So they're making the trek, and that's awesome. That just says so much for OVW partnering with a big brand like that. Fort Knox show. Besides the show itself, how amazing is it to be in Fort Knox with all those soldiers?
It was an honor. Actually, that was actually a very, very special show to me because, back when, they still do it, but when WWE would go overseas and they would do Tribute to the Troops, and I would watch it and I'd be like, wow, I would really love to do a Tribute to the Troops show, whenever I get my chance to wrestle and things like that. I want to do Tribute to the Troops. And now, here we are, once again, 10 years later, I'm in OVW, lots been happening, and then we have our Tribute to the Troops show at Fort Knox, and it was surreal. Like, it was absolutely incredible just being there and having it was just, the crowd was amazing, that echoing of the oohs and the ahs and the ohs, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, the crowd looked hot, hotter than hell watching it because they were into it. They let down their guard, so to speak, for the night, and you guys just brought them home to a place where they were comfortable, and it was heartwarming. That's probably the best word I can use watching it up in Pennsylvania, not being in Kentucky with you guys. It was heartwarming seeing what OVW was doing for Fort Knox.
Yes, yeah, that's the perfect word for it.
So now let's get on to some of the OVW stuff that you are doing. KTD, type of a loner, correct? I mean, you're not intermingled with Mr. Marvelous or Big Zoe, but why so lonely, so to speak?
I mean, it's really a matter of, it's kind of, why am I so lonely? That's actually a really good question. I don't know. I was in the tag team with Sam a couple years ago, and then we split off and started doing our own thing. But I really kind of just like being able to experiment, and try new things in the ring without a lot of restrictions and boundaries. And tag team wrestling, it's great, it's awesome, but you have to be on the same page with a lot of people at the same time. And, when you're out there, and it's just you and your opponent from across the ring with you, it's just, all right, let's make this magic happen, just me and you. And I was actually in the tag team with Zoe, I think it was a little bit over a year and a half ago. No, about a little bit over a year ago. He and I were in a tag team, and then we split off and had a street fight together in E-Town.
I remember that. I remember that. Just leading you into some ways, wondering if it would ever happen again, because King's Ransom always looking for, challenges. I figured, you and Big Zo would make a great team. Even get you and Sam back. Just something. My main reason why I asked you this is because the TV gauntlet as well. Because you're always getting the shaft. And this is where we need to talk to Dean Hill, Al Snow, Chad Miller, anybody. You come out 1 or 2. You never get the great pick at the end, and that's what I'm getting kind of pissed off about. KTD's not getting the love.
Well, it just when it comes to things like that, it just means makes me work harder. It makes me want to hit harder, makes me want to run faster, makes me want to put more weight on the bar at the gym, and get stronger and better. Things like that. That's really what it does to me. So it's not so much as a lack of love. It's just a lack of, this is what, for me, it's what I have to and want to improve on. And who wants the number 4 spot anyway? That's the number 4 or 5 spot. That's not a challenge.
All right. Great businessman. I love you for that. Nobody has fell for the bait of throwing Al or Chad under the bus yet, so I'll keep trying.
Hey, I just work there, man. I just work there. I'm just an athlete there.
So you've been in the business a while. Would you tell the kid that, you meet at McDonald's and says, hey, KTD, I really want to get into, first of all, you shouldn't be at McDonald's, KTD, but nonetheless, hey, man, I really want to get into wrestling. Can you give me some advice? What's the first thing you tell everybody?
Finish school and have something to fall back on. Even with us having a trade school, have something to fall back on.
That's great advice across the board for any profession, minus wrestling or garbage man or anything. I completely agree wholeheartedly. You need that education anymore to get anywhere.
Oh, yes.
Okay. A couple more questions, and then I know you're a busy man. So let's do my favorite question of any podcast. You're booking your dream match. You against who, okay? What's the stipulation, and where is it at?
Oh, my dream match. I actually got asked this question last year, and my dream match is actually, believe it or not, against Mike Hayes at OVW. Right now, Mike Hayes is just one person that I haven't had the opportunity to step in the ring with, but I would love to have that one big match with Mike Hayes at hopefully OVW 1100.
1100. That's actually right around the corner if you think about it. It's not that far away, so get the cracking. That's great.
Yeah, Mike Hayes is just he's a big inspiration to me. Hands down, he's one of those people that's always given me very, very, very good advice. Not that I don't get good advice from anybody else in the locker room, but Mike Hayes is one of those people. He will take you to the side and he'll talk to you for about 15 to 20 minutes, just like filling you with knowledge. And there's, like I said, it's amazing because he's been doing this for so long, and it's like I said, just seeing what he's accomplished and overcame, it's inspirational, and it makes me want to step in the ring with him so much more. And I've had the opportunity to train with him before too, and just grappled with him, and he's so strong, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you can see the strength in his upper body. No disrespect or anything, but you can see the strength in his upper body that he looks like he wrestles bears at night just for fun.
I think he does. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he does.
All right, KTD, I'm going to let you out of here, but you have to tell everybody where they can follow you on all those social media and what else you have going on. You going out and about doing something besides OVW?
Well, right now, our schedule at OVW has been so busy. I rarely have an open weekend now. So then when I do have an open weekend, with the family, so or at the gym. But as far as my social media goes, ladies and gentlemen, you can all follow me on Instagram at KDT Dunn. So it's KD, then T Dunn. And then so that's my Instagram and Twitter. And then for my Facebook, it's Done Never Done. So DUNN, never DONE.
Nothing like confusing the hell out of them, KTD.
Right. You'll have to play it back a couple times, I believe. But, eventually they'll come across me.
Hey, if they keep playing it back, that's more listens for us. That's more coin in our pocket. Great. You should have made it.
Good. I'm glad. I hope they play it back as many times as possible.
Nice. KTD, I will see you in the beginning of August when I come down once again to cover the OVW draft. So I thank you for spending some time on the show with us.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to doing this for a very long time. And hopefully we get to do this again soon.
For sure. Without a doubt, buddy.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
What a classy guy. I always try to get the young guys to throw Al or Chad or somebody else under the bus, but they don't. They love this business. They are passionate about professional wrestling. You can hear in his voice everything that he says. And when we talked about the Combine, you know that he put all of his heart, everything that he had, into the Combine that day. And to hear those results that he gave us is unbelievable. Guys, again, KTD's won. When we go back down to Kentucky, we'll reach out to him. And, during the draft, we'll talk some more. We'll get into some of his matches that he's recently done or anything, because this is somebody we need to follow. This is really somebody we need to follow along for that ride. When I was talking about being in his training classes, just to see him, the eyes focused on Al when Al was talking, and it's just a huge family. It really is. OVW is a huge family that they just keep pushing each other more and more and more. And the nickname Livewire is right there because he is kind of like a spark plug, a Livewire for that roster. He wants everyone to excel as he's climbing that ladder too. So I want to thank KTD for coming on the show. It'll be soon. It'll be real soon again that we talk to KTD. We have more set up in the hopper for the next couple weeks, so who knows where it's going to go. Guys, if you know anybody that you would like to hear come on Can Crushers, send them my way or send me their way. Just get us in contact. We'll talk. We'll chat. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'll ask anything. I really will. I love this. I really do. Thanks to Al Snow and Chad Miller for always making these possible. You've opened the doors up for Can Crushers to walk right in, grab people, and say, hey, come on the show and tell the world about your experience. 1 in OVW, 2 in professional wrestling, and then just your life experience. So, guys, these are great. As I always say, I love doing the Wednesday show. I really do. But just diving in, getting to know the talent, the wrestlers, I'm a mark. My mom aptly named me. I'm a mark for professional wrestling. I love it. So thanks to everyone involved. And, guys, lots of wrestling this weekend. Stay tuned. Myself and the Rated X Superstar, Pat Lupino, will be in Baltimore. We have Soup in Pittsburgh. We have a couple other guys watching pay-per-views, so be prepared for a hell of a long show on Wednesday. Until then, remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. See ya.